Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wandering Podcast, where we take advisement from outside the box. I'm Rihanna Ritter, your host. I'm an intuitive, sexuality, and authentic expression coach. Are you an accomplished professional who plays the part of having it all figured out? Who's strong for everyone else, but feels lonely, misunderstood, like you can't tell anybody the truth about how stressed you are, how not passionate you are about your life and all that you've created? I guide my clients to deep, lasting fulfillment. I re-engage them with their bodies, their pleasure, their desire. I help them align to enjoy fulfillment and prosperity in all areas of their lives.
Today, my guest is Thomas Knoll. He's the CEO and co-founder of 11. He helps leaders turn small moments into big outcomes. He's a 6 times founder, 4 times startup employee, 2-time exit, 100 times product ship, 1,000 times failures and lessons learned, 1,200 plus mentor sessions, 300 plus long-term coaching clients, and 1 Ikigai. Welcome, Thomas. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I don't even like math that much, but I got all numbers.
Yeah, so well, before we get into 11,
Yeah.
Ikigai is a new thing that I just heard for the first time in the book Being Here, I think. And I don't
Okay.
even remember the author's name. But
Yeah.
yeah, tell us what an Ikigai is and what yours is.
Yeah, so it's like I think it's like a Japanese term, um which is why it has such a, I don't know, fun sound to it. Um I'd been doing the exercise probably 10 years before I tried to say it out loud. And so the first time I was like, an Ikigai, and people would look at me like, "You're doing a what now?" Um But yeah, it's just a Venn diagram with like 4 circles, and you have like what you love, what you're good at, what people need, and what they'll pay for. Basically, there's probably even better labels than that, but that's how I remember it. Um, and so for most of us, like, we get jobs or careers or do stuff with our lives that'll overlap like, 2 or 3 of those things. Um, but ideally, like if there's a way to find uh, a like a way to do all 4 of those, kind of at the same time, and so that's kind of a, I don't know, a good spot to be for business, I guess, if it can all align with that. So it's just an exercise I do every time I'm between things to try to get a sense of like what I want to go do next. Um, and it's gotten pretty settled in without like at first it's like I want to be a fireman and an astronaut and an engineer and a cartoonist, and
Yeah.
now it's pretty settled in for a really long time. And now it's basically, um, if I really enjoy basically helping people um, learn and embrace the fullness of curiosity. Um, and I've gotten pretty good at it. And um, people don't know always that that's what they're looking for. So this is where it gets kind of fun and weird. Is like they don't always know that they're like looking for like, I need someone to coach me through increasing my quality and quantity of curiosity. No one sits around saying that out loud.
Right.
Um, but a lot of the presenting issues that people do bring to me, and because I work with founders and leaders of organizations, right? So the problems they bring, they're looking for help, and it turns out that whenever they're given curiosity as the solution instead of some decision I've made or some framework that someone's written or like someone else's list of answers, um, that's the thing that like, oh, I really needed that, and I'm willing to pay for that. So that's mine.
Yeah,
Curiosity,
that's
I guess.
I love that. It's because most of us we pick a career based on probably what people will pay for and maybe what we're good at. And the other
Yeah.
two were what? Something that we love. What was the other one?
and that like people need stuff that they need. Yeah.
Yeah. So we tend to just cover those two, and then we wonder why we're dissatisfied in many things, because like our
Yeah.
career takes up so much of our time. And
Yeah.
if we're approaching it from a place of just making other people happy, we're not going to have the best
I think
time.
you just described like half of the population, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that a lot of people just don't have the awareness, kind of like you said. So, what is 11, and what does it do for people?
Yeah. So 11 is a company that is 6.5, 7 months old. Um, it was, it spun out of my executive coaching practice. Um, kind of the average standard framework for that is like 2 hours a month of these face to face deep dive, um, real personal calls, and then like unlimited asynchronous messaging and stuff. And people would still spend 5, 10, sometimes even 20 minutes of the call going through like, so there was this thing that happened and then that happened and I was thinking about this and I was kind of wondering what I should do about this and that and that. There's this other thing and like where should we start? And and every time I'm like, you could have, like, this could have been an email, this could have been a message, like you could have sent this any time outside of this call and we would have had more time in this call. But for a bunch of reasons, people just wouldn't do it. We tried all kinds of different apps and different ways to like get it to capture. No one would. So since I know how to build stuff, I was just like, I'm gonna build this thing. I think it'll solve that problem, and it did. And so when I gave it to people and asked for their feedback, would they use it? Um, the reaction was like, yeah, we can use this for coaching, whatever. How do I give this to my leaders for their one-on-ones with their reports? Um, and so that's whenever it turned into a company. And so that's the gist of the product and the company is it's an app that is purely asynchronous, that is voice first, and it's just designed to help people like as close as possible to the moment of confusion or frustration or inspiration, record the thing, just kind of talk about it for a minute and hit send. Um, but because it doesn't notify or alert, um, there's no pings, there's no notifications, like it can't be an interruption to anyone, and it can't cause a um, like reaction. And that's what a lot of people are getting with their answers whenever they Slack someone or drop them an email or something, is it kind of is an interruption for the other person. So the other person just kind of like quickly dismisses it with an answer or just reacts to what they think the text was about. Um, and that just trains people like, don't ask for
Yeah.
anything real important, um, because it's going to bother me or be a distraction or it's just a problem I need to like get rid of quickly. So that's what this enables is it's like it's just going to sit there until the person wants to hear that. Um, and when they do, then they can respond asynchronously or just now be prepared for the next conversation, just having more of that context of what people need and what people want.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like a journal, and then that you're sharing with your coach, but when they're ready to receive it. Because I have
Yeah.
found when I am being coached and when people are receiving coaching from me, that they feel like, oh, I don't want to take your time and I don't want to bother you and send extra messages. And um, it's just funny how we all have a little bit of people pleasing tendencies,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So we
Oh yeah.
we don't want to take up
It
too much space.
it's
And
helpful. It kept us alive for, a while.
yeah, absolutely. And then it starts to be like not serving us, right? So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
to train ourselves out of that tendency takes a fair amount of work. And
Yeah.
so do you find, what I'm finding with executives is they love to be really capable and they love to feel like they have the answers. And I know that's me, because I always felt like if I needed to ask a question that I was somehow stupid or missing something that I should already know the answer to. And so I wanted to just jump in real quick with an answer instead of getting clarity on what the person meant. And that spills over into romantic relationships, family relationships, relationships with kids. When we feel stupid for needing clarity on what somebody's asking or saying, we miss all of the opportunity for connection, really getting to know someone, and we jump right into judgment, right?
Yeah. And it's I think like almost everyone does it almost all of the time. Right, so like it's not weird that happens. Like it's kind of like a normal thing to do, so much so that it's like really delightful and surprising whenever someone responds with, you know, like on the receiving end, if someone asks like, is this what you meant? Or like, it sounds like you're saying that blah 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 is like what would happen, like can you tell me more about that? Like on the receiving end, it's like they're interested, they care, they're actually listening, they want to know more, right? Like, so it's so wild that the receiving end, it feels so good to be asked, to for someone to want to go deeper and to make sure that they understand. So I don't know how it's so easy to switch on the other side, to withholding that from someone, because if we do, like, it actually, like you're saying, like it almost universally makes things better if we are to ask. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of risk, I guess, for most of us have, been in situations or dynamics and relationships where not knowing is like a sign of either you don't know enough, or that there's like a weakness, or that you should go just figure it out. So it can be hard to transition to being willing to respond with curiosity.
We
So
have
I just
so
want people
many,
to take baby steps. You just try it once, see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong, but see what happens if the next time, you go like, wait, do you mean X?
It's freeing to not have to be a know-it-all. It's actually a lot of pressure. We have these task lists and we want to solve, like, we're approaching everything as a task, like, and we don't want to approach people as tasks. And so to not have to pretend to be a know-it-all, and it's just such a different way of relating with the world. It lets you slow down instead of giving out the first railroading check, 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 you know. So especially, I think I see this with women a lot, where they've got the career, but they also are a parent, and they have the societal conditioning of giving everything they can before anything else. And so they don't have the awareness that they're allowed to just stop and be like, actually, I need help. I need somebody to jump in here. I don't have to pretend like I can do all of this by myself and burn myself out and then be mad at everybody for wanting so much from me when they haven't even really asked for it. Or if they've asked for it, we've said yes so many times that they think that that's what we enjoy doing and that we want to do that. So it's really interesting to to slow down and just be like, yeah, I don't have the answer. I'm going to ask a question instead. And it also helps the person on the receiving end, like you're saying, dive deeper into what they're wanting to create and do and look within themselves for answers instead of being so attached to getting answers from other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in your coaching, so are you still doing executive coaching or are you focused mainly on
Yeah, I still get to do both. When I set out to do this, I kind of let the team and investors all know that it's it's important to me to stay in the practice itself, because it really informs and helps shape the development of the product. Um, and it's just the thing that I never want to not do again. Like I kind of want to always have that thing that thing going on because it's what fills me up the most. Like I don't have to go get filled up on something else to then have enough energy for coaching. Like sitting in that space, and guiding people through this process is the thing that like really fills me up. Just to watch them kind of untangle or blossom or uh, recognize something that they thought they forgot, or like it's it's like better than most TV shows. So it's like
yeah,
I'm getting to veg
yeah,
out, refill, be useful, like kind of all at the same time. So yeah, I made sure that it'd be able to work that way. And then also the other co-founders in the business as well all own other businesses, and have things they're doing, that same thing, like this is a great extension to the work that they do for like all of their customer base, but also what they do um, really helps improve the business and product. So it's got its own kind of like Ikigai overlap thing going on too.
yeah. So how do you manage, like, there are a number of different priorities. Like there's this creative aspect of creating a company, creating an app,
Yeah,
working with teams to do so, and also coaching. Like
yeah,
there's different directions. So how do you make sure that you don't burn yourself out or uh, able to keep your focus and energy
yeah.
up?
I don't. I don't want to imply that it's easy or not like a lot of work, um, because it takes a lot of work, and it's not it's not easy to do. Um, but the fortunate thing is like trying to apply the same practice to our business. Like one of the people I talk about a lot is it Katie Ludecky? Um,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, she's like this was a couple Olympics ago. So I don't know what the current standings in the world are, but like she like set some world records at the Olympics, in swimming. Um, and I was showing it to my kid the other day. Like, not only does she win and like set a world record, but like, they're going like an Olympic pool length back and forth. I don't know, 10 or 12 times or whatever it is, and she like wins, sets the world record, turns around, pulls off her cap, is like sitting there catching her breath and like smiling and waiting and watching for like a whole nother lap before all of the other best people in the world at that time even make it to the
Wow.
end.
Wow.
And while and they have like the cameras that like follow under the water, so you get to see all these angles and everything, and when the camera's under the water, her legs are just kind of like do 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 do, like the first time I saw it, the sound was off. I'm not hearing the commentary, and in my mind, like, this is someone who's not trying very hard. And then you start to see, like, no, 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 she's like winning. No, 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 she's setting like a world record. But it looked effortless. Um, and there's something about swimming itself, right? Is like, to be very good at swimming, there's an amount of, like, you can strive, but like, if there's too much striving, like, you're literally just splashing around, right? Like, if, like, you
Creating
have to,
friction.
yeah, there's like this,
Yeah.
slow is fast, and, or like, or how does it go? Slow is calm and calm is fast, or something like that, right? Like, there's this thing that you have to do that's just like least resistance, um, very small, no wasted energy, no wasted, like, nothing is wasted. And if you do that, then you just slice through the water and are further ahead than anything that's trying too hard to get through it. Wait, I don't know, probably way too long of a story, but it's the thing I'm thinking about all the time, where it's like, we can do more and be more effective if we are able to do the stuff without a whole lot of extra striving and pushing and friction and resistance and splashing around. Um, so it helps the business, both of the businesses go better when you've done the work ahead of time, to where, like, each decision doesn't feel as difficult. It doesn't mean you don't have to, like, make 100 or 200 decisions, but if each one of them can feel less difficult, because I'm more certain that I'm deciding from a place of, like, calm, confidence, courage, creativity, um, that I know I've done the work to notice the types of fears that would make a decision hard. Notice the type of anger that would disrupt a conversation. Notice the type of, um, anxiety, that can cause a lot of churn, right? Like, going to write an email and sending it, and then, like, wait, I need to rewrite it. Wait, I don't know if I'm gonna get across right. Oh, I need to rewrite it. Let me write it differently. Let me do it. And, like, it's like sending an email now takes half an hour instead of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, um, like, all of that you can buy back, of not churning on, um, that kind of stuff, means there's more time for, like, all the stuff that still takes hard work and a lot of time, that's usually more about strategy or creativity, or trying to come up with a solution, or spending time to do some of the collaborative stuff with other people. You have more time from that, because you've, kind of gotten rid of all the extra churn in your strokes.
Yeah. So are you saying, like, addressing the inner critic, the imposter syndrome, when something comes up that's an idea that's creative and it feels easy and joyful and fun, and then you get that ruminating stuff and the inner critic and the imposter syndrome that comes in and starts to try to argue with you that you aren't worthy of that, or you can't have it because it's too easy. So is that the kind of work you're talking about doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it funny that we think that doing tasks, a lot of tasks, is more important than doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us don't even realize that those things aren't us.
Mhm.
Like, they're just old patterned thoughts that keep repeating themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you how do you do the work, that kind of work for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. The first thing I'll say for your listeners, like the big shortcut is go look up internal family systems, Richard Schwartz. There's no bad parts. Um, or just go watch Inside Out again.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, like that. That's that's the shortest answer I have to this question, right? Because all the work that I do is heavily informed by internal family systems. Um, to expand on that just a little bit, like the work is, most of us, if we even notice that stuff is coming up, like some of it is happening without us even realizing that, like we've even never noticed, or no one stopped to tell us, like, hey, do you know that you're a people pleaser? Do you know what that, like, did you know that you don't have boundaries? Do you know what boundaries are? Right? Like, so you can go
Yeah.
years with like not even knowing that, like, that's a thing that is happening.
Yes.
um, but once you notice it, most of us, most of the time, do whatever we can to push it down, box it up, set it aside, avoid it, ignore it, overcompensate, hide it, kick it down the road, right? Like, I'll do that later, right? Like, we try
Mm.
to get away from it as fast as well. Oh, I'm really defensive whenever someone challenges one of my ideas. You should just stop doing that. You suck. Like,
Mm.
suck it up, get over it. That's what you think. If instead we turn toward it and get curious about it, ask why it's there, what it's trying to do, why does this happen every single time? I'm trying to do this, and then this happens. And it kind of like blows the whole thing up. Um, Most of the time, like 99% of the time, um, we find that it is something trying to help us. Like that defensive part remembers whenever I was ignored, told to like sit down and shut up, told like, I don't really care what you think, this is how you're going to do it because I said so, right? Like, it remembers all of that, and it wants to protect me. And so it says, we are going to dig in, we're going to get louder than the other person, we're going to stand firm, we're not going to let anyone ever push us again and walk over us again. And so it's trying to help us, and there's some stuff in there that like is helpful. And then at some point, this is when the things just become a habit and we don't really notice we're doing them, is like at some point you wake up and realize, like, oh, I'm like really digging in and getting loud at people that they aren't that other person. And they
Yeah.
aren't doing that to me to the extent that that person did that to me, but I'm still responding to them with this very big overreaction to, like, I don't really understand what you're saying. Are you kidding me? What do you mean you don't, like,
Yeah.
that didn't fit the situation. Like, that wasn't the person that said sit down and shut up and do what I told you to. They just said, like, I don't understand, like, why that's our plan right now, right?
Yeah.
So that's the work, is as much as possible outside of the live active situation, right? Like, just kind of like take the note, like, oh, I'm really defensive, I wonder what that's about. Then to go carve out some time, uh, get to know the defensiveness, understand what it's there and what it's doing. When we do that, we find out this, like, oh, you're trying to help. Well, that doesn't really help anymore, because now it makes me act like the person that bothered us so much. Do you
Yeah.
see that? Like, oh crap, we're like doing it. Like, yeah, so, you know, if you just will kind of tap my shoulder instead of barging in and getting angry, like if you'll tap my shoulder and be like, hey, are they doing that thing? And just let me go, like, oh yeah, no, this isn't one of those. Okay, cool. Then I'll just I'll chill out, right? So we just rework that relationship to let it still be there, right? Like, I don't need to destroy defensiveness, because then I'm destroying like justice and
Yeah.
right to speak, and like I need that one to help trigger whenever I see other people being pushed over, stepped on, told to sit down, and their ideas don't matter. I need that one to help me spot that when it happens so that I can, help in that situation. So when we reintegrate it into a helpful way, right now we get to, when I'm in a situation where normally that would consume a ton of energy and hijack a decision or a conversation, now it's like, oh no, this is cool, we got this. Actually, it's about blah, blah, blah. Thanks for the question. That was really helpful. And then we're on to the next thing in like 2 minutes instead of like maybe 20 minutes, but also maybe damaging that relationship for the next 2 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
so they have there's compounding interest in doing the work up front, because then it is useful over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, not just for yourself, but as a leader, right? So many leaders. I was talking with Mark Mears, and we did a podcast, and he had highlighted that so many of our after World War II, when the veterans came back and they started businesses, they were approaching management from a militant,
Oh, okay.
authoritarian, because that's what worked in war.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at home here, when we're trying to be creative and we're not being shot at, we probably don't need to be screamed at and have all that defensiveness. And our leaders, today were raised by those people, and so the only thing that they know how to do, unless they go out and learn and study or hire a coach and do the work, is to repeat that behavior. And so they, if someone asks a question, it's like, I'm being attacked, you're questioning me, you need to follow orders. It's it's like, no. And it does, like, make employees resentful, scared. They don't perform well in their jobs. They don't reach their creative potential. Like, if you hire someone to be an accounts payable clerk and they notice a trend in the way that we're paying a bill that's really ineffective and it's costing us money and we're paying interest and we didn't need to be, but every time they go to their leader, and then their leader's like, oh, I was supposed to notice that. And then they attack that employee for pointing it out and act like you're questioning my authority and saying that you're doing a better job than me. Like, we don't need to approach it that way, do we?
No, but that's what's happening all day, every day in all of these organizations.
Yeah.
And right now the solution is, hire an AI agent that won't talk back, won't question, won't argue.
Yeah. And is that agent adding the value that the person would have added by talking back and pointing that out?
That's the risk, right? Is there, like, it's already been squashed out, and so there's not that opportunity. Now you're just going to remove the opportunity entirely for any of these things to happen. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens to organizations that choose to remove the human aspect because the human stuff is difficult.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do when they don't have kind of an ecosystem of diverse and interesting humans all bringing their perspectives to the work that's being done. I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
I'd rather have companies with interesting humans.
Yeah. I was talking with my friend who is helping me, learn AI, and I was saying, well, what do you think about the future of coaching? Like, if everybody's got an AI coach, like, are we going to be needed? And he was like, I had written a song and we were putting the lyrics into Suno, and he said, it's really cool what Suno does, but I'd way rather have heard the the lyrics that you sang and sent me that have the inflection of emotion, the voice cracking, instead of just a output of sound that has no soul in it. And like as a coach or as a coachee, you want the human energy and the feedback of a face, a real face, and that intimacy, that connection. It's great to process information, but it's kind of like just reading a book. And we all know that we could read a million self-help books, but it doesn't have the effect of having an actual coach. Right.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So in your app, I'm curious how it's been working, and how coaches approach it, or leaders approach, taking this information that's kind of compiled, and different ways it can be used and has been used.
Yeah. Um, what's fun is this is so early on. And we are, uh, the saying, like, you gotta crawl before you walk kind of thing. Um, we're definitely in the, like, let's get the crawling thing happening first. So the phase we're at right now is getting the app into as many people's hands as possible so that they can feel um, like there's a channel where I can actually capture some of the stuff that comes up and share it with the other person. Um, and so we're trying to get to the point where that happens more and more often, and people are able to experience um, what it's like to have a space where they can do that. And I think what's really cool is almost everyone, um, when they are presented with something real, like a real question, a meaningful, like, concern, they, like, most people rise to the occasion, I guess. Like they'll meet it with the same level of um, respect and dignity and vulnerability. And so it helps initiate that, and then kind of the next phase, the walking after this is, then we'll be able to expose people more to the tools of curiosity and responding with curiosity, and also some of the resources around nonviolent communication, um, as like ways to take the second step of the conversation. Um, so that's where it goes next. Um, and then the response to the people so far, I think the most surprising wild thing, so I built it originally for clients, like just my own clients. So it's like the coach to client relationship. And then the clients who are leaders in organizations, they're like, hey, I need leader to direct, manager to direct report to have this app to start to, help facilitate their one-on-ones. So launched the private beta in the fall with 50 something managers and however many reports they had. And then what happened was the people who were trying this in that context started asking us, like, hey, wait, could I add my coach to this? Could I add my therapist to this? Could I add my spouse to this? Could I add my nutritionist to this? Could I add my, like, once they experience this space where they could start a conversation for later without triggering a reaction, but making room for the thoughtful response, immediately they're like, okay, there's these other people in my life where I want to be able to start conversations this way. And so we're like, we're not checking that you're only adding managers and reports or only coaching client. Like, you can, like, it's encrypted. Like you can add whoever you want and use
Yeah,
it. But like totally tell us if like all these different ways that you're starting to use it, because that'll be interesting and maybe we can help with those too.
that's really cool because I guess it slows everything down. Like when we talk, we are usually receiving a response right away, right? But then like if we can get this thing out, it's again to me like journaling.
Mm,
But where like something comes up later that I needed to add that I didn't think of in the moment, and then something later, and then, like becomes this holistic, like it's this whole person, and you have
yeah,
concerns in all these different areas of life. And when the people in your life can see that you're juggling this, and it's all like they can be more compassionate, more understanding, and
yeah,
they get a clearer picture because we don't take the time to really have deep conversations very much anymore, especially if we're like if we have kids and a career. And yeah, if you're running a business, like you're everybody's the whole all the departments when you first start, right? Till you
yeah.
can hire people. But like we just don't have the time to really, and people take things the wrong way and they feel like
Yeah,
you're attacking them. I mean, we just see that all the time in our conversations, that we're so defensive. And I mean, anyone, if we're really defensive, reactive, resentful, that's a really good indication that we lack boundaries. We have people pleasing going on, inner critic,
yeah,
self or imposter syndrome. Like we're trying to perform our way through life to get validation, acceptance, and love.
yeah,
And if that's you, it's the inner work is the way through that. It's not
yeah,
pushing it away, like you said, suppressing it, trying to ignore it, run away from it, but turning and facing it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this phrase from IFS I like, that's like, if it's big, it's yours. And it's like, if I'm noticing that I'm having like a big reaction to what someone else is doing or what someone else is saying, it's like, if I'm having a big reaction to it, like, that's something going on in me.
Yeah.
That's not about them. That's
Yeah.
about me. And can I go find out now, like, wow, why is that so big right now? Where's that coming from?
A lot of self rejection, right? Like, I'm ashamed of this thing, so I'm going to lash out at anybody who mirrors it back to me. The only
Yeah,
reason it keeps being mirrored back to me is because it's in me and live and active and
yeah,
dominating my energy, right?
yeah, yeah,
Well,
for
this is an
sure.
exciting app. You have other companies. How are you doing all of that? It's just,
Yeah, I mean, so the fun thing is like it's all so closely related. Like, and that's where like really um doing the work to understand what my Ikigai was, right? Just to really know what that sweet spot is. And then there's three things that made it easy for me to make that jump. Um, the first one is it's a maybe Netflix. It's a show called Jiro Dreams of Sushi, or Jiro Loves Sushi. And it's about this like 90 something year old sushi chef. Um, he's got this Michelin starred restaurant, um, a waiting list for like 2 years or something to even be able to go to eat there. Um, and what you learn as you're watching this, kind of documentary movie is like he wakes up at like 96 years old, right? He wakes up and like his first thought is like, I wonder if I could, you know, make the rice better, or cut the tuna a little differently that would be more beautiful or more conservative, like it's like he's not like, oh, I've made it and like I can just like retire and coast. It's like every day it's like, I wonder if I can make that a little better. um, and then the second one is Shangri-La. It's like a 3 episode documentary about Rick Rubin, like the recording studio where Rick Rubin is. This was like before his, like, was it Creative Act or whatever that was? Before that book came out, it was this mini series about that space and the work that he does there, and just realizing that for him, he's trying to create a space where rather than how do we add enough stuff to reach a goal of mass popularity and to please the most people, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can we
Yeah.
add things that would make the most people happy? He's like, how can we strip away everything that isn't just like your pure expression and essence, and let's try to capture just that purest expression and trust that if we do, people will be drawn to that. Maybe a whole lot of people, but that's secondary to like capturing the essence. And the third one was this, there's a like 1 hour documentary about it's like Charlie McKessie, who wrote The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. And it I think like won some Oscars or something a couple years ago. It seemed like he came out of nowhere, because he had just like written this book that got like tens of millions of like people bought it like within the first year. So like, and it was like his first book ever or something, so just like it seemed like he came out of nowhere. But this documentary reveals that like this guy's been drawing a boy and a mole and a fox and a horse for 40 years. Not just like, and he wasn't making, he didn't make like 2,000 different cartoons a day or a year or whatever, like it was like basically the same one over and over and over again, trying to like capture the essence of it and like somehow get it right. And everyone around him is like, draw something else, like get a real job, like do like, why are you still drawing
Yeah.
a boy and a
Yeah.
mole and a fox and a horse, but it's like, but just trying to get the essence of it right turned into something that a lot of people noticed. And so those, all of those kind of collided with the like, okay, what if I just had tried to have this same kind of conversation with people about curiosity for the rest of my life and like always trying to make it a little bit better and a little bit better and more effective and capture the essence of it for them a little better, but like, what if that? And so that's why it's easy to do the other businesses, is like, it's all just, all of it is just a version of like, what if we could help people apply curiosity as like their default reaction to themselves, to the person, beside them. Um, and like eventually, I my hope is that, and I'm not the only person trying to do this, right? But I hope if that happens enough time, like humanity all takes a look at each other and goes like, okay, like what if we just get curious instead
Yeah.
of deciding I hate you or you hate me or we hate them or they hate us or we need to get rid of them or they're trying to get rid of us. Like what if we just all decide to look around to the next group and go, tell me more. I want to understand. Do you mean this when you say that? Or can you explain it to me more? Because I don't know if I understand and I want to.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like all the other businesses are just a different expression of that primary Ikigai, right? The curiosity is the center, and you're in a study of what are the different ways, and I can use these different businesses as different ways to meet that primary goal.
Yeah.
And at what point did you figure out that you needed to cut some stuff out of your life to be able to focus and do the work and have this ikigai and do it effectively?
Yeah, I think what's fun about this approach is that um, the side effect of it is um, being able to let go of things that don't, right? Like the first time I ever thought about boundaries, it was more from a mindset of like how hard it will be to set boundaries so that I can become the person I want to become or whatever, right? When the focus is on like I know who I am and how I want to be, now the boundaries piece is just kind of like clarifying it for others. It's not like hard work for me. It's just like, how do I most easily communicate to other people what my boundary is? It's not like, oh, how am I gonna like force my boundaries and keep them and make them happen, you know? Um, so that's what's fun about this is the saying no to other things and the cutting. It's less about cutting other things out and more like, oh, there's not space for that. That's okay,
Mm, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's where I love the like the Marie Kondo stuff, you know, where it's like you just kind of like have gratitude for what it was. Um, and it's a lot easier to let it go that way than just like I need 47 things in the garbage, right? Just like walking around and thanking everything for being there. And it's like, okay, you can go, you can go, you can go.
yeah, yeah. And who were you before you discovered IFS and setting boundaries? And like, that first initial boundary setting is so scary and difficult, right? And then once you do it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, who were you before?
I mean, I still mostly am that person that
Yeah.
still constantly is doing all the work. Um, I I do know that I had a lot of things that um, that I clung to for safety that I had a lot of beliefs that weren't mine.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things that I had been convinced are beliefs that I have and that they're really important for reasons. Um, and just kind of slowly and then all at once realizing that like okay, what of all of this stuff is even mine versus, you know, handed to me by family, by community, by systems. Um, so that's the biggest thing that has changed. Um, and I really understand the moment in the Matrix where it's just like, just let me go eat meat and think that it's meat again. I know it's fake. Just plug me back in and let me just go to Vegas and have that steak. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to. I don't want to know. Like it was a lot easier not knowing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm racist and
Yeah.
misogynist
Mm.
and right, like, because then I would have said like, no, I'm not.
Right. Yeah. I've
And
been
then you
there.
face them and you're like, oh, well, like I didn't even know the extent to which my privilege is just like completely blinding. And I had years, maybe even decades, maybe even 2 or 3 generations of like training how to hide those in polite company
Yeah.
and insist that you're not the thing that, you know, while fully taking advantage of all of the things
And
that the
it's leaking
system.
out in everything you do and say, but you don't
Yeah,
see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So who I was before was um, clueless and simple.
Yeah.
now
Was
it's
there a
now it's work.
particular like catalyst or frustration, like repeating frustration that was coming up that led you to start exploring IFS or doing the inner work that you can remember, or a repeating pattern in your life that you were like, I've had enough of this. I'm going to start looking at myself because projecting it outward isn't getting me anywhere.
Yeah, I I don't have a good sense of what started it. Um, I think uh, I think I had I don't know, proclivity towards curiosity, like being willing to question things. It's what got me in trouble and got all of those things said to me about like, why don't you just sit down and shut up and do what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
So like I think that piece had always been there. I think the thing that has been the most intense for me to figure out and understand is um, being a parent, being a father with my kids, like wanting to um, there's this really intense cycle that I'm still doing a lot of work to get through, which is the like I I want you to be reacted to differently than what I experienced.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that you're going to turn out as a bad person if I don't control you.
Mm, yeah.
I'm angry that you get to feel safe saying whatever you want and not being hit or yelled at, or I mean he still gets yelled at, but a lot
Yeah. Yeah.
less and a lot differently. Right, like so there's a lot of stuff that is an ongoing, like that's the thing that highlights the most to me, like how much work there is to do to understand like where this stuff comes from and what is happening, right? Like when I get angry that he's like yelling at mom, right? That there's like a whole tree of things that anger is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's control and it's fear and it's what if and it's, like layers and layers and layers of to unpack.
I'm with you. I'm definitely in that cycle. I'm imagining that that's the journey of parenthood for most of us. Like, I found myself jealous of my kids because I was raising them so differently than the way that I was raised. I give them so much more permission to be who they are.
Yeah.
And I called them spoiled, and I
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
you know it's quite a practice. It's a daily
Yeah.
practice to show up with compassion, curiosity, patience, presence. Like a lot of times I get reactive that they think that they get to demand that much attention. Like I can get into victimization of
Mhm.
feeling like I have to give them attention instead of connection. This was something I just talked with somebody else about.
Oh, wow.
They phrased it that way, not attention seeking, connection seeking. And so when I heard attention seeking, I was like, oh yeah, when I say that, I'm in the energy of victimization. Like you're trying to take something from me. You're pulling on my energy. You're being a vampire. But if you're seeking connection, then we're in a collaboration and we're, you know, connected and intimacy, and we're learning about each other and we're curious.
Yes,
That's
buddy.
perfect.
I want you too, buddy. Yes. How's that for? Hello. I'm sorry.
Hi. Well, how
Okay,
can
buddy.
people find you and work with you?
So just thomasknall.info will go to all of the other things. If they want to try the app, it's get11app.com. And I'd love to meet people and say hi and know what other folks are going through, and learning and discovering on this whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have links in the show notes on how to find you and work with you. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.